What up, Ram Nation? Justin Michael here, live from Stadium Swim
if you couldn't hear
Circa Resort and Casino in Las Vegas. I got Ryan Greene here.
What up?
We got to watch a really tense basketball game at the Thomas and Mack Center. CSU pulls out a gritty 72-62 victory over the Spartans. The game was certainly tighter than a lot of us anticipated, but I mean, a win is a win at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And the story here is we're going dancing. With this win, CSU, if they weren't already a lock, they have officially secured an at-large bid for the NCAA Tournament. I know technically speaking we won't find that out until Selection Sunday, but they did what they needed to do with their backs against the wall with all the pressure on them. What was your main takeaway from this game other than how tense it was and the fact that we had to change shirts afterwards?
Yeah, no, the main takeaway was that this was a playoff game. This was a tournament game. This is what it is. Like, as much as you want to look at San Jose State and go, oh yeah, 9 wins, so this should be an easy first round. It's just not, man. This is like, they just needed to play really good defense for one game. Like, that's all they needed. Like, it's just different when you just have that one game scenario. So they got the job done. I mean, it was a 10-point victory. I know it was like tense the whole way, but they finished strong and then won by double digits. So I don't know how you cannot be a little, at least encouraged heading into tomorrow.
Look, there are some folks that are going to be upset no matter what happens. They're going to look at this NCAA tournament clinching victory and, complain that it wasn't decisive enough. Obviously, it would have been great to get a blowout. But at the end of the day, all that really matters is you're able to win. And I really don't think the fans understand just how challenging this last 3-game stretch has been. You've got games against Air Force and Wyoming, regional rivals. Metric-wise, it's a tough spot because all the pressure's on you to win.
Yes.
If you're an NCAA tournament team, these are the types of games you should win. I'm not trying to make excuses or anything like that, but I do think at times we kind of view it through a video game lens of it's that simple. You just go out and you press a couple of buttons and you kick the crap out of a bad team, when in reality what we've seen throughout the Mountain West for this entire season is that really anybody is kind of capable of hanging with anybody. Now there's obviously a top tier of teams, and San Jose State is not one of them. San Jose State coming out and playing a frisky game is not surprising at all to anybody that's followed this league.
Well, and I wasn't honestly surprised that the Rams had a slow start either. That was tournament jitters. They were getting good looks. They just weren't going in. They were like really off.
They missed 3 layups in the first 2.5 minutes. All of them looked good. They had some sloppy turnovers early. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't great early, and man, Joe Palmer, he saved their ass today, and he's the game MVP without a doubt. Joe Palmer, the same guy who was 3 of 19 from deep going back to the beginning of February.
And you let him know about it.
Yeah, I did. He goes 4 of 5 in this win, the biggest performance of his career. Afterwards, he's at the podium, grinning ear to ear. He's a great sport about it. I had to ask him, what's going through your mind when that first one falls through? It's obviously been a cold stretch, and in peak Joe Palmer fashion, just couldn't be more genuine. He's like, honestly, I was like, thank God, finally.
Right.
And I think that's how a lot of CSU fans have felt. Not even necessarily about Joe, just somebody being able to step up and hit some big threes for this team. And he was massive in this win. Without him, I don't know if they pull this out, or if they do, it's certainly very, very tight. Probably comes down to the last play.
It did feel like he prevented the San Jose State run. I thought San Jose there for a while when they were hanging in, especially in the first half.
I think they were
good
defense.
Yeah, they were like, all right, we can do this. And then, Joe Palmer just out of nowhere just hit good. What, he hit his first 4 threes?
4 or 5, and he started 3 of 3.
So it was great, and it seemed like everyone that he hit was huge. It wasn't like
they were loud threes.
Yes, loud threes. So, this is the beauty of tournament basketball, right? This is the Joe Palmer game. We will always remember this one.
And I think it's just one example of what could make this team so endearing to a neutral national audience if they were to, go on some type of run in the NCAA tournament. Obviously, we don't want to count our eggs before they're, hatched or anything like that. But I'm just saying, you look at a guy like Joe Palmer, a former Division III player, to come out and have this moment on this stage after the struggles that he'd had. I mean, Ram Nation desperately wants this guy to succeed. They could not love him more, and that puts pressure on you. You know it. The students are waiting to go bananas when you hit a shot. He honestly does a really good job of kind of balancing what could be a tough spot of really this role guy, it's a lot of ego, but that's just not Joe.
No.
He's a team first guy. He's diving for loose balls. He had a really big offensive rebound in this one, and I mean, more than anything, it's the shot making. We're going to talk about all the takeaways. I do want to shout out our partners. They're making all of this possible. Of course, I'm talking about the Circa Resort and Casino. As you can see behind me, we're at Stadium Swim. This place is sick. This is the closest I've ever felt to living a life of luxury, if we're being honest. It's Vegas's first ever adult-only casino resort. They check your ID at the front, and then you don't have to show it 8 million times. They've got a 3-story stadium-style sportsbook. It's the world's largest sportsbook. They've got 7,000 square foot casino with 2 levels. We were hanging out last night. It was awesome. 1,300 slots, 48 table games with dancing dealers, and of course, Stadium Swim. It can hold 4,000 people, 143 by 40 LED screen. It's awesome. If you are coming out to Vegas anytime soon, I cannot recommend Circa enough. Book your stay with the code DNVR20. You're going to save 20% off. That's super clutch. And again, the Circa Sportsbook app is available to download in Colorado. Circa Sports bets can be made only while physically located in the state of Colorado. Must be 21 or older. All rights reserved. Circa Sports Colorado encourages you to gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Caller text 1-800-GAMBLER or visit problemgamblingcolorado.org. I also want to shout out the friends over at Coors Light. Right now, I could use a nice cold Coors Light,
God,
if we're being honest. That game, I was sweating it out. And going back to what I was saying earlier, I'm not trying to be a jerk or be if you were nervous during that game or if you were tense, you're wrong. No,
it was tense.
It was tense.
It was tense.
But a win is a win, and that's really what it comes down to. Or in a single elimination format, anything is possible. Anything is also possible when you have an ice-cold Coors Light in your hand. It's made to chill. Coors Light is the perfect cold refreshment when you want to chill. It's cold brewed, it's cold lagered, it's literally the taste of the Rocky Mountains in a bottle. There's only one beer out there that's literally made to chill. That's Coors Light. Coors Light, it's mountain cold refreshment, crisp and refreshing as the Colorado Rockies when it's time to chill. Coors Light is the beer I reach for. When you hit the reset, grab that beer that's made to chill. Get Coors Light delivered straight to your door with Instacart by going to CoorsLight.com/DNVR. Celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Shout out to everybody in the comment section. If you wouldn't mind giving us a thumbs up, I certainly would appreciate it.
Dude, smash it for the win.
Smash it for the win. Like. Hit the like for the Rams win.
Gotta enjoy tourney wins.
That's the thing, man. If you can't appreciate something like this, this is what it's all about. We're 23. CSU's now 23-9. They've had extreme highs. I mean, when you think about the fact that they have 4 high major wins, some of those Mountain West wins over San Diego State, Boise State, Utah State at home, all awesome. Now it's set up for an opportunity with a rematch with Nevada, a team that had CSU's edge. You get a little chance at revenge. We'll get into that at the end. We're going to get into some more takeaways here, but I want to go back to that first half because you talked about it felt like Joe Palmer really avoided the San Jose State run that got this game out of control. You went down a couple possessions here or there, but it was never an instance where, oh my God, now you're down 13 and you're trying to scratch, claw, do anything you can to just get back into it. It wasn't the prettiest, but it was just one of those games, both teams are playing really hard. I think San Jose State's effort defensively is admirable. They threw some different zones and stuff out there, and to the Rams' credit, they were able to adjust, and they were able to really execute in the final stretches of both the first and the second half. That's what it kind of came down to, is just execution when the game was on the line. In that first half, you closed on a 15-4 run. It was actually a 15-0 run at one point.
Yeah.
And if San Jose State is not able to get those last 4 points, which are huge, you're feeling great.
Yeah.
In the second half, you have another slow start, unfortunately. It seems to be a common theme for this team. I don't know why. But a win is a win, and honestly, the hottest start they had this year offensively was at San Diego State, and then the offense fell off a cliff. So maybe this is just what we do. We start slow, and then we figure it out.
Well, and hey, maybe just having this game means better things for tomorrow. Maybe this is the warm-up they needed. You'd rather probably have a slow start against San Jose State than against Nevada.
Most definitely.
So again, that maybe this is just they ended on such a strong finish to this game that, I mean, what?
60-6 over the final 4 minutes. So
a little over 24 hours later, I think. I just hope that they're just kind of in that flow again, and it was popping. They were playing great defense. I think the defense fueled that first run in the first half. You could tell there was just 2 possessions where it was
back-to-back shot clock violations.
It was just suffocating. Fantastic switches. It was just like, even if you don't watch basketball, you're like, damn, that was some smothering defense.
Well, when you look at the numbers, it backs that up. You hold San Jose State to 44% from the floor, 24% from three-point. They went 5 of 21. They did hit some big threes late in that second half to make it interesting. Cardenas hit a couple. Who's the other guy? Trey Anderson had a decent game before he got a little bit into foul trouble there. They made us sweat, but when the game was there, this team executed like an NCAA tournament team when it was on the line.
Yep.
And, I just think that the resilience of this squad is really going to be a big benefit for them come postseason time.
Yeah, well, and look, veteran presence like Isaiah Stevens, it's going to show up, especially here.
Well, and Tim Miles said it best, like, I think you've always got a shot as long as you've got Isaiah Stevens on your side.
And even you could tell he was on some of the crazier offensive possessions. He was telling his team, "Okay, chill out."
That's what he does.
Let's do deep breaths. Like, he really slows down the game when it may not have been Joe Palmer threes, but he slows the game down, gets it. Knows when to say, you know what, let's just get it to Joel Scott down low. All that. So,
and the ability to dictate the pace, like, he's one of those guys, like, we're gonna push it here, and there's not much you can do to stop it. Like, or hey, like, let's get a quality look in the half court here. And of course, when it comes down to, like, there's 5 seconds left on the shot clock, I gotta get to my spot. There's nobody better on this team. Defensively, I think that was the big key really for the Rams, and to me, like, the turning point of this game was Neat Clifford's block with just over 3 minutes to go. It's a 3-point game at this point with over 3 minutes to go. So if you're just peeking at the box score, you probably don't know how tight this game actually was. He comes over the top. I mean, his vertical on that was insane. And it's just such a big momentum swing. We called Joe Palmer's threes loud. That's about as loud of a rejection as it can get.
Because that was when really, like, San Jose State was hanging in there. It felt like CSU would go up 5, and then it would be tied again. Go up 6, tied again. Like, it really, I think you tweeted about it. It's like, the longer you let them hang in there. And I was like, yeah, man, like, you got to, like, just end this school already. And then, but when that happened, that was like, okay, that felt like this isn't getting tied again. This isn't going to get close. Like, we're taking it from here. And, I mean, not only to get that block, but the 3 in the corner then immediately following. I mean, that's
which
just
is huge, and that's another guy that's struggled to hit those shots.
Right, and so that was just, I thought he had one of the more off games of any of the starters today. Offensively. But, like we're talking about, when it mattered, he got into veteran mode and just went for it. Like,
well,
it was
and his
great.
presence defensively so huge on the glass. Like, it
so
just feels
long.
so different when he's out there.
He reminds me of Peyton Watson, dude, because it's just like all of a sudden it's like when he goes up, when he goes up, you're like, that's tough to shoot over. So, yeah, that block wasn't surprising, but it was just like, damn, that's a fine block, sir.
He led the team with 9 rebounds in this one. Obviously had one of the biggest shots of the game. Finished with 8 points in 32 minutes. Joel Scott actually led the team with 18 points in this one. He went 6 of 7 from the floor. 6 of 8 at the free throw line, which was huge. There was a stretch early where he missed back-to-back at the line.
Yes.
Coming off of a game where he went 8 of 16 at the line, and you're like, ah.
And that was when they were missing their shots and layups, and I was like, oh, come on.
Free throw shooting as a whole, still not great. 10 of 15, only 67%. That really could have cost you if it ended up, being tighter in those final minutes. That's something you'd like to clean up for sure. You'd like to get rid of some of those sloppy turnovers you had early on. Yes, ideally, you'd like to start a little bit faster on offense if you could. But again, I think sometimes we look at this way too simplistically. It's not pressing X on the video game. Like, a couple of those shots, especially from Neek. Neek had a couple of three-pointers that I thought were good. They were confident, hit the back of the rim. Like, that's a good shot that you missed. They had a couple of layups that they missed. Like, honestly speaking, like, if you make just a couple more of those, maybe this ends up being the 15 to 20 point win that the fans wanted. You were 14.5 point favorites. I would have told you not to touch that with a 10-foot pole. I mean, it's the conference tournament. Like, you will get an occasional blowout here or there, but mostly we saw it in a crazy Fresno State-Wyoming game. They come storming back. Like, everybody is going to give it their all because it's win or go home. It's win or your season's done.
Yes, and you only know that you have a few games left, so like, just why not? We're here. We're in Vegas. Let's go win a game. And I mean, for them, yeah, just beat Colorado State, like Nevada probably, but one game that's probably worth their trip, right? So it's just you go 9-22, and then you come here and win. Like, that would be good, and you eliminate the Rams from the tourney possibly. Like, that's a fun way to end your season. So,
and these teams take great pride,
yes.
like they. I think sometimes, again, like, we just expect bad teams to expect to lose. Like, we're bad, so we're just going to get... No, like, they practice they work their ass off all season, too. And like you said, they want to play spoilers. And I just think that these last 3 wins between Wyoming, Air Force, and now San Jose State, it was just really reassuring to me that this team is battle-tested, the type of composure that they can have. They can win in different styles, whether, it's a big offensive game or it's a grinded-out type game. I think that's going to translate come NCAA tournament time. And, you've got a veteran point guard, which is, we're going to hear that a lot in the tournament broadcast. Veteran point guard play. It's true, though, with a guy like Isaiah Stevens, and I think Tim Miles is spot on when he says as long as you've got him, you've got a shot. And, moving forward, it really probably comes down to, like, what can your stars do for you? And in this one, yes, the game was tighter than you expected, but when it was really time to take over, Clifford gets the block. He hits the corner 3. Joe Palmer's hitting the open 3. Zay hits his open shots. They're able to get to the rim. They knock down their free throws at the crucial times. You're not giving up offensive rebounds. Like, they did what they needed to get the win. And to me, that's all I wanted. I just wanted to see this team come out and take care of business, clinch that NCAA tournament berth, take some of the stress off of the next couple of days. And now you're kind of playing with house money at this point. Like, I certainly would love to see CSU win a couple of more games in this one or the whole thing. Like, that would be epic. But really, at this point, it's about seeding. And, like, you want to do everything you can to maximize your potential to put yourself in a great opportunity. But, like, we're going to the big dance, and anything's possible in the big dance.
Just get in, man. That's all it is. That's a great way of looking at it. I think now you have also, I know we're still going to talk about Nevada, but it's hard to beat a team 3 times in a season in any sport. Like, I just find that to be really tough, and they got it done. So, like you said, this could have been just another. There's been a lot of heartbreak this year. There's been a lot of games, so like, I think that was in the back of a lot of Rams' minds, especially in the first half. They were like, "Oh my God,
here we go again.
This is this shit, right?" Like that. But they're in. That's all you need. And a veteran team that we saw tonight can win a slog of a game. That's what tourney games are, right? That's what playoff basketball is.
If you can't appreciate a 23-win regular season in which you had more high major wins than you've ever had this century,
but they finished 7th,
Justin. You were ranked for multiple months. I mean, I think Nico Medved really hit it on the head with San Diego State. Like, there were a handful of plays away from San Diego State falling to the 6th seed and also having to play day 1. And they're being pretty widely projected as a 5 or a 6 seed in the NCAA tournament. I don't understand why everybody is so, like, upset about what's happened with CSU. Yes, it's been disappointing, but they're acting like it's unique to them. They're the only team. No. San Diego State, they could not win away from home either. Why? Because this league is really good. Why is this game tight? Because this league's really good. Cardenas, that dude could make some money if he hops in the portal. I mean, Amy Jr., he was awesome in this one. Played all 40 minutes for them. 7 of 20 from the floor. I think he was just gassed late, but I mean, those dudes, they kept him in it. A combined 35 points for those two, more than 50% of their points. It's just like Air Force. Like, they've got Becker, they've got Petritis. Every team in this league has guys that can play.
And if they go off on the same night, it's like, no.
You never know.
Yeah. Then it's why you should also enjoy wins like this. Don't look at the seeding. Don't look at the wins. Like, you won a tournament game, we're moving on.
In the history of this program, it has not been something that's happened very much. And I don't want people to miss out on this moment and not be able to appreciate what a fun ride this has been because they're still dejected about a couple of tough ones that went the other way in conference play. Like, yes, we all would have loved to have seen CSU win the first regular season title. I talked about it a bunch. Like, Isaiah Stevens in his 5th and final year, he comes back, leads the team to a regular season league title for the first time ever, would have probably been the conference player of the year. That would have been a really cool situation. But at the same time, it doesn't always play out that way. And now we're in a spot where we'll just see. Anything's possible. It's a single elimination format. Yes, like, you might get bounced in the first round. You might make a run to the Final Four. We don't know. But simply getting to the NCAA tournament in a year like this, where your schedule was really, really tough, that's significant. And you're coming off of a 15-18 campaign.
Yes.
Like, we're not Duke. We don't go to the, year in and year out. Yes, I'd love to see the expectations be at that level sometimes, but really, it's just all about the matter of perspective. And that's when you're looking at this season as a whole. That's when you're looking at this game. A win is a win, and I'm not going to apologize for it.
Not going to do it.
Shout out to our friends over at Empire Today. With Empire Today, you get the shop-at-home convenience, the right product for your needs, quick and professional installation, and a price match guarantee. Empire Today is the place to get new flooring. Of course, they've got copycats, but those copycats, they can't match Empire, not on their quality, not on their service, not on their speed. So what they're going to do is they're going to advertise a bunch of low-quality garbage that Empire isn't even willing to carry. What Empire keeps out of their selection, that's just as important as what they keep in. Their philosophy, it's to help you find what you need, not overwhelm you with a million different choices and substitutes. And with the virtual floor designer, it's a great way to see how any floor will look in a space. It's easy. All you got to do is snap a picture and instantly see how new floors will look in your room. Shopping at a big box store, it can be really confusing. You're walking around, you're trying to I think that this would look good with my beige couch. You're trying to look at a picture you have, but maybe the lighting's not great and you can't tell. Empire Today, they take all of that hassle out. Schedule a free in-home estimate today. All listeners can get a $350 discount when they use the promo code DNVR. Restrictions to apply. See EmpireToday.com/DNVR for details. I also want to shout out Game Time. With Game Time, it's never been easier to buy tickets last minute. I don't know about you, dude, but I get so dejected by the ticket buying experience with most places because you're like, oh man, we can catch a Nuggets game for $18 tonight, and bam, convenience fee, bam, service fee, bam, you criticize Jamal Murray post-game fee, and that $18 ticket ends up being a $70 ticket. It's just ridiculous. With Game Time, it's the fast and easy way to buy tickets for sports, music, comedy, theater, you name it. They've got flash deals. They've got zone deals where you pick the zone. They're going to pick your seats, and you're going to save an average of 18%. And the Game Time guarantee means you'll always get the best price. If you can find tickets in the same section, same row for less, Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the app, create an account, use the code DNVR for $20 off your first purchase. Terms to apply. Again, create an account, redeem that code DNVR for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed. Finally, now has never been a better time to be a DNVR diehard. You get a free shirt or hat of your choice from the DNVR locker every year when you renew. You get access to all of our diehard level content. You get access to the members only Discord, which is really fun. I'm always in there talking Mountain West football, Mountain West basketball, not even just with CSU fans. We've got Boise fans in there, Wyoming fans, and what's cool is...
What?
We do. It's what's neat is it's this little Mountain West community that we've been able to establish. We're kind of recognize that we're all in this together. And sure, we take jabs at each other.
Right.
Rivals are going to be rivals, but at the end of the day, we are all much more similar than we are different. And it's fun to just talk hoops in there. So if you want to talk hoops with me directly, now's a great time. Become a DNVR diehard. You can ask questions. You'll have abilities to ask me things that other people won't. I'll do some premium content for y'all. That sounds like I'm advertising OnlyFans or something. But hey, man,
I'll subscribe.
You never know. You get 20% off of all the events, 20% off merch. It really is awesome. Head over to thednvr.com and join the best sports fans in the city. All right. Kind of putting a bow on this and kind of turning the attention to Nevada because obviously it's a quick turnaround. I'm excited. As you mentioned, it is challenging to beat a team 3 times in the same year. My good friends over at Aztec Breakdown, they do a great job covering all things San Diego State. They actually pointed out a couple of days ago that the numbers don't necessarily back that up. I think Mountain West teams are 28-8 versus teams that they've beat twice. Don't quote me on that roughly. That said, I don't buy into that because I have seen CSU be in this spot before.
Yes.
And you lose to a Wyoming, you lose to a team like that. I just think, especially in a year like this where it's all these games are so tight, just statistically speaking, if you roll the dice enough times, it's still probably going to come out in your favor every now and then.
Well, and like you were saying, it's not like the Rams played bad in their previous matchups.
I actually think they played really well in Reno. If Jared Lucas doesn't go prime Kobe in that one,
Right.
and Keenan Blackshear hit some huge shots for them down the stretch. Really, that's the difference between CSU and Nevada in these two games. Is Nevada's shot making was far superior.
Yes.
And that's not shocking. I mean, Jared Lucas, he's the best three-point shooter in the conference, over 40% from three in league play.
Dude,
It's insane. We saw what he could do when he hit the game winner, banks it in. It's a trash shot, but hey, it is. It is.
That was such a wild
But I mean,
game.
it's also really clutch, and that's that team, man. They are hot. Their offense has been executing really, really well. One small win, I guess you could say, for CSU is McIntosh won't be playing in this one. He had a great game in Fort Collins, was red hot from deep, so you get a win there. But at the same time, they get Keenan Blackshear back, and in my opinion, he's probably the best two-way player in the league, like up there with the conversation for best on-ball defender. He's a freight train going downhill, and I mean, he's a guy that's had some really big games for them. I want to see when the lights are brightest, with all the pressure on both these teams, whose stars step up and lead their team to victory? Because it feels like a Nuggets-Lakers game. You know, when you've got, it's Jokic and Murray, and it's, LeBron and AD. Yes, everybody else factors. You need the Joe Palmers of the world, the KCPs to step up, and without them, you're not winning the game. But really, what it's going to come down to in a matchup like this is, it's their two versus your two, and which guys can step up and make more plays. I think they need a huge game from Isaiah Stevens. I think they are probably going to have to shoot well from deep, not necessarily light it up. But the big thing, they got to win the paint. The Rams almost always win when they win the paint. Ironically, they won the paint both times against Nevada and did not win those games. But again, that comes back to giving me confidence of why they could pull it out, because at some point, you're not going to go prime Kobe every single game, and CSU's due at some point to hit some shots.
Yeah. I was kind of surprised and I know he missed a few shots early, but I didn't think that Patrick Cartier was involved today offensively at all that much.
He had a rough start. He was minus 11 in his first 11 minutes on the floor.
So, I mean, it wasn't but I think you're right. I think while you want Isaiah Stevens to obviously have a great game against their two, you look at who could be his second tomorrow, and I'm looking at Cartier and Joel Scott. I would just feed those two as early as possible.
Well, especially with what Joel's doing. I mean, he really looks confident
down there. He looks like Aaron Gordon down there. I know it's not that,
though.
But he's got that strength, and he's just when he's going to the hole, there's not many people that stop his.
Well, and he's figured out exactly what my role is.
Yes.
If I do this, you're going to get me the ball. I'm going to be patient. You're going to jump. I'm going to duck underneath you. Yep. Boom, and one. He gets 2 to 3 and ones per game, and it's just because he's patient. He waits for the play to develop, and then he goes up strong. So I'm with you. I'll throw out Nick Clifford, though. It would be awesome to see a guy like Joe Palmer go off again, or Cartier, especially just because he's had some struggles, and that's a guy he's so tough. He's played this whole season injured. He's out there with the Rip Hamilton mask. He's had ankle injuries. He's had to deal with it all. But I think this is a game where the Rams would really benefit from, like a 18 and 11 game at a Nick. I don't think you need to go for 40, especially if Isaiah has a good game. But I do think you need him over 15 points. I think you need him going downhill, drawing contact into the rim. If he could hit a couple of threes, that'd be huge. And then obviously, he's the biggest factor for them on the glass. When he's not out there, it just feels different. There was I can't remember if it was in the first half or the second half. I think it was in the first. There was a stretch, or no, it was the second. Nick had just picked up his third foul. He had to go off the floor. San Jose State misses a 3 long. Sometimes, those long rebounds, it gets a weird bounce. It's not really necessarily you had bad positioning. It was just a freak bounce. This one, it basically rolled right down the middle, and 3 people just looked at it. And, a couple passes later, San Jose State ends up cashing a 3. Those second chance opportunities, really, really killer. I am bringing this up because I'm bitter that Nick Clifford was not named the Mountain West Defensive Player of the Year. The media didn't even name him All-Conference because they rewarded guys that score on bad teams more than leading the league in defensive rebounds, being a top 3 on-ball defender in the conference, and also having some pretty big offensive moments as well. But yeah, to me it really comes down to whose stars can step up. Jared Lucas in both games against CSU, was Steph Curry-esque.
Yeah.
So if you can take him out of the equation, if you can force Nevada to consistently have to create quality looks not from deep, I think you've got a good shot in this one.
Yeah. Well, and again, like when these tournament games turn to slog games, like that's kind of when the Steph Curry shooters go away. That's when they slow down, and that's when, again, if you have the defense that you had at the end of the first stretch there, I don't think there's. I think you're gonna get a good defense on their perimeter game tomorrow. So. I think they were motivated too, and I like Nick Clifford because he was the one after the game, and when I was on the court as they're saying bye, he was the one just telling guys, yeah, we got one game. Like that's great, that's cool. It's
well, this veteran,
but we got one.
This veteran team, they get it, and like it was so endearing with Joe Palmer, like post game, being like, I think that's really cool. When I asked him, like, have you had an opportunity to appreciate this moment, even given like that the job's not done?
Do you think he even knew?
No, I don't. I think I genuinely, like, he was like, oh yeah, you're right. Like, we're gonna go to the tournament now that we won this game. Like, regardless of what happens moving forward, we are locked into an at-large bid now. You're really consistently being forecasted in that like 8-9 range right now,
right.
And that's tough, obviously, because even if you win, it's congrats. Now you get Houston.
Where were they against Michigan?
They were a 6 seed, actually.
Right, that's right.
So, but then, favorite, right. I mean, it's one of those like.
Just get to the tournament,
you
man.
can get a bad draw.
Exactly.
Like 6 seed in theory is awesome. That's the highest seed CSU's ever gotten. And then you draw a Big Ten team that was, kind of inconsistent, but in a, has the size advantage in a Big Ten city. Like there were a lot of things kind of working against CSU. Excuses, sure, but I mean things you do have to consider. I think, especially like when filling out your brackets and stuff and all this. At the end of the day, like in a single elimination format, we have seen CSU can hang with anybody. They beat the hell out of Creighton on a neutral court. They won a really impressive game against Washington on a neutral court. That win over CU at home looks pretty good. And that's a team that's really come on hot down the stretch. And funny enough, them winning probably helps CSU's NCAA tournament resume. Like all of a sudden, like you could get that to like Q1 range potentially if they kept raising up the metrics. Probably not going to happen at this point, but. I can't wait. I can't wait to see what happens with this team. Like
I'm excited.
I'm nervous. Yeah, I'm nervous. Like I'll be disappointed if they don't make a run in the tournament. But like I've said a million times throughout this season, and even a couple times on this podcast, so I don't want to get too repetitive. It's just an eye of the beholder situation, and in a year where the league has been as crazy as ever. Yes, there have been some frustrating moments. Yes, there have been some games where you would have liked to have played a little bit cleaner. You're 23-9.
Yes.
You're 23-9. You're going to be a single-digit seed in the NCAA tournament. If they can win against Nevada tomorrow, I think they've got a good chance to get out of that 8-9 range, get back into that 7-6 range, especially if they had like another strong game on Friday. What's interesting, I was talking about this with my buddy Kevin Lytle of the Fort Collins, Colorado inn.
Shout out to the homie.
Shout out to the homie. Support local journalism. It's a weird spot if you're CSU because you want to win it. You've only won the Mountain West tournament once ever. It's been over 20 years. You want to win it. At the same time, given that you don't necessarily need to win it, having to play 4 games in 4 days, especially with the way that this all works out, like if you beat Nevada, you're playing in a late night game Friday.
9 p.m.
And then it's a really short turnaround.
That's 10 p.m. in Denver. That's insanity,
with
dude.
And then you turn around and play, I think, a 2 p.m. game the next afternoon. So it's a really tough spot. And even if you get to the championship game, like if you have to play the following Thursday, like that really could take a toll on you.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like I obviously want the Rams to win. Nothing would be more fun than to see this team like make the run.
Be awesome.
But I do think there is, like, if you win a game here, win another one, or if you lose Friday or something like that, I think I'd rather lose Friday than lose in the title game though, because you're just having to take that lack of rest and play another game.
No, it's as a Vegas term, they're playing with house money at the moment, and you've said it on this podcast. The pressure's off them now. You're in the tournament, and now you're playing Nevada, who's the tougher seed, and so like you should be playing loose. You should be playing carefree and hopefully a little bit pissed off that you haven't beaten this team yet this year.
I got to imagine not only did Lucas hit that shot, he goes over to the crowd afterwards. He's flexing on him. You know, he's talking trash. I don't have any beef with it. Like, this isn't me being like, oh my, I'm not pearl clutching. Oh my God.
No, but
dude, if I had a half-court shot, I'm telling the whole entire opposing crowd to go fuck themselves.
Yes.
I don't care. Like, I'm flexing on you. I'm doing the DX suck
you
it.
won.
Like, whatever. Maybe that's not the most like polite or
I want to see you
sportsmanlike
hit a
way to
game-winning
do.
shot now.
Right? Right? I'm heel, man. I'm Christian Leitner. I'm all those guys. I'm not Zay.
Right.
I have enough self-awareness to know that I would never be somebody that selfless, somebody that mature and wise and skilled. I'm like, I'll hit some corner threes and maybe I'll trip you when you're running past.
Oh,
but,
yeah, dude.
I mean, we need heels. It makes sports more fun. And that's why I'm actually excited about this matchup with Nevada, because like, it's fun to play against guys like Lucas that hit big shots, that talk trash. Yes, it's nerve-wracking. Yes, I'm going to be sweating the whole time, probably going to have to bring a change of shirt again. But, like, this is what it's all about, man. This is fun. It's high major basketball. You are in a league that the entire country is tuned into right now.
Yes.
The Pac-12 tournament's right down the road. Nobody gives a shit. Nobody cares.
No one cares.
Nobody cares.
What channel are they on? Pac-12 Network?
Does it even exist still?
Yeah.
I think the games are on ESPN.
Oh, okay.
As a college basketball guy, I got to give the correct information. But yeah, man, this has been awesome. I cannot wait to see what happens. Make sure you guys stay locked into all of our coverage. We're going to have photos and graphics and written features, and RG will do, his thing with the spotlight, which is going to be epic. Shout out to Alyssa behind the sticks for making this all possible. Shout out to our friends at the Circa Resort and Casino.
You know that pool's heated.
This place is incredible. It's
we're
probably
wearing
warmer
jackets and stuff, but
in
that's
the pool.
a heated pool. So, like, this is jumping in. No.
I considered it for a second. I had the angel and the devil, like, do it. No, this is your only pair of sweats that you have. Shout out to Ram Nation, man. This has been a blast. I cannot wait
if
to
they
bring
beat Nevada, I'll jump in tomorrow. Here we go.
You heard it. They beat Nevada. RG's going in the pool, and I cannot wait. Shout out to all Ram Nation. I'm always proud to be. Much love, y'all. Peace.
We all silly like the mayor.